views and opinions of the following show do not reflect those of WSMN, its owners, and/or associates.
Welcome to Inspiring Hope with Lois Hermann, a leading expert in professional coaching, clinical hypnosis, and energy clearing. Lois is an award-winning author of Chronicles of Hope. She has decades of experience in advanced hypnosis techniques, has conducted highly effective success coaching programs that have helped clients discover ways to achieve success, empower themselves, their families, as well as holistic practitioners to expand their practices. Get ready to be empowered with your host, Lois Hermann.
Hello, good morning, and welcome to Inspiring Hope. I am your host, Lois Hermann, and I'm here to inspire you with positive messages and celebrate people who are making a difference in our world. When we focus our thoughts and energies on truth, honesty, and integrity, we create powerful shifts that cause us to be more positive and peaceful. As we lift our energy, we empower everyone around us. If we each do what we can to make small shifts in awareness, we create ripples of hope. Join us as catalysts for positive change for our families, our communities, and our world at large. I hope you're inspired by today's show. And today is my Halloween show. This is a time when folks decorate with spooks and goblins and scary ghosts. Are you one of the folks who actually see or hear ghosts? When spirits speak, do you listen? Today's show is dedicated to the world of the unseen. As we understand more about ghosts or spirits, we're better equipped when we do encounter them. There are many types of spirits, from the high vibrational realm of angelic beings to the low-level entities and nasties that are stuck in the lower dimensions. Do you know the difference? It's important to be aware of what surrounds us in this unseen world and be able to discern how best to interact with them. Halloween is an ancient, sacred, hallowed time when the veil between the spiritual and physical worlds is very thin. During this time, we can more readily connect with unseen spirits. It was the custom of ancestors to come together on the eve of All Hallows Day, dressed in costumes of good or evil spirits, to act out the battle between good and evil. Their intention was for the good to win and ward off evil spirits, asking for God's blessing and protection from evil in the world. Certain rituals have also been utilized to call on the power of darkness or evil for personal gain. This phenomenon is very real and exists to this day. Over time, the intention behind the holiday has been lost to most people. We dress our children up in scary costumes and send them into the world to gather candy from strangers, teaching them to venerate the power of darkness. Okay, so what's wrong with this picture, guys? The veil between dimensions is thin enough to sense discarnate souls more readily at the end of October. Are you able to sense spirits around you? I've been aware of the spiritual realm for over 30 years and have extensive experience communicating with spirits, angels, demons, and more. There's so many stories to share, and today I wish to remind you of the importance of keeping your energy in a high vibrational state as we delve into the realm of the great unseen. Now, I'm a medical executive with a very analytical mind, so let me give you a little background into spiritual energy. All life is based on energy. Plants, animals, humans are vibrational energy beings. Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Think about that. There are different levels of vibrational frequency that exist in a variety of different dimensions. We're all familiar with the third dimension, our physical dimension that we vibrate in, where the tangible that we can see, that we can touch, that we can feel. There's also the fourth dimension, and that's the level of the unseen. This is where the lost souls exist, people who have died and are stuck in between. They're also Mother Gaia's scavengers, if you will, emotional energy feeders that feed on the low-level emotions of guilt, shame, fear. They were born and created, like all life, to help neutralize the fear. So there's certain levels of them that we encounter. However, there are also low-level entities from other dimensions that also feed off of energy and cause great harm. These are the ones that people will say are extraterrestrial or whatever. They are in that fourth dimensional realm that we can't really see. And then there are the 5D levels. That's that high frequency dimension, the dimension of euphoria and joy and love and peace. When we get our energy up to that high level, we're vibrating in the realm of 5D. This is also the realm of heaven, where people are in the light. There are many higher levels. This is where angels exist, and spirit guides, and masters such as Jesus. The Anquetas, the first 8, are the highest vibrational energy. And many people have questions about angels and spirits. And today I'm going to share some stories of my spirit guests from beyond the veil. Over this past 30 years, I've helped thousands of lost souls, ghosts, and earthbound spirits into the light. As a spiritual hypnotist, I help people connected in their mind with beloved passed-over loved ones, making sure they're happily in the light, bring such peace and solace to the living. I also help to identify angry or lost spirits who are stuck in between, in the dimension of this earth plane, in the fourth dimension. And then I also work with the archangels to send the dark or nasty entities back to the dimension which they belong. The gentle yet powerful work my team and I do to help clear stuck, lost, or negative energies brings our clients clarity, peace, and hope. Many people suffer extreme distress without understanding why. In the clearing process, the lost find their way to the light with loving assistance, while the living gain clarity as to what happened and become empowered to shift their lives to maintain a positive energy. My team Hope and I serve to bring the light of hope and peace to individuals, communities, and our whole world through our extensive energy clearing work. We're guided by and trust our beloved guardian angels, especially archangels, who work tirelessly to assist anyone who calls on them. Angels among us. Take a listen to this lovely song, Angels Among Us by Alabama.
I was walking home from school.
This is next.
On a cold winter's day. Took a shortcut through the woods, and I lost my way. It was getting late, and I was scared and all alone. But then a kind old man took my hand and led me home. Mama couldn't see him, oh, but he was standing there. And I knew in my heart he was the answer to my prayers.
Oh, I believe there are angels among us, sent down to us from somewhere up above. They come to you and me in our darkest hour, to show us how to live, to teach us how to give. someone to come along and comfort me. A kind word from a stranger to lend a helping hand. A phone call from a friend just to say I understand. But ain't it kind of funny at the dark end of the road?
Angels are among us, and they embrace us whenever we call on them. Since they can never interfere with our free will, we must learn to call on them regularly and thank them for their guidance. As we become like children, asking a parent for assistance, the angels love it, and they respond in so many ways. So people ask me, how did I get involved in this crazy unseen world? 30 years ago, this week, almost to this day, I escaped from a very toxic relationship. I was in charge of a large imaging department down south. I disappeared in the middle of the night, took a reliable position with a medical company, and relocated to Massachusetts and moved into a lovely house with a ghost. And my life has never been the same. Now, this was no scary ghost. It was the spirit of a brilliant mathematician named Judy. My sweet 7-year-old daughter started talking about a lady who would come and sing to her in the middle of the night. She wasn't afraid of the lady, but was curious about who she was. I learned from a new neighbor that this might be the wife of the man I was renting from. Her name was Judy. Judy was so abused by her husband that she shot herself in the head in my basement to escape his brutality. I could relate to Judy and was very sad for her. At the time of her death, Judy's daughter was my daughter's age, and since my daughter was asleep in her daughter's bed, she mistook my daughter for hers. She meant no harm, just wanted to be near her baby girl. Mothers often refuse to leave their children, and others come to the living simply because they're lonely. My new neighbor suggested that I invite another neighbor who was a spiritual hypnotist, along with her friend, a priest, to come and bless my home. When Agnes and Abba came, we had a lovely time, and they agreed this sounded like Judy. As they got up to leave, I asked if they were not going to please bless the house or sprinkle holy water or something, and they told me that I needed to learn how to do this. They were given guidance that I needed to learn this. And my thought was, me? I've probably excommunicated. I'm divorced. I don't know anything about this. I was about to learn about spirits and so much more. Well, they told me what to do, and that night, when the house was quiet, I sat on the stairs outside of my daughter's room, lit a candle, took a deep breath, and had an imaginary conversation with Judy. I told her that her daughter was grown and she was fine, that this was my daughter, and I was going to take good care of her. I invited Judy to go into the light. Felt some chills, waited a few moments, blew out the candle, and went to bed. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. A few days later, I asked my daughter if the lady still came to sing to her at night. She thought for a moment, then said, "No, but there's a little boy. Then there was a soldier. Then a Native American woman." One spirit after another came to see her, while I learned to gently help each of them into the light. This started my journey into the great unseen. I became fascinated with angels, past lives, and spirit entities. This has long been one of my favorite songs, Angeles by Enya.
I'm
You are listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Hermann at WSMN 1590.live or 95.3 FM. Please help share these messages. Watch the videos on my Lois Hermann Associates YouTube channel or at my websites, loishermann.com. And join our Hope community for support and inspiration at chroniclesofhope.net. So how do we connect with our spirits, our guides, or angels? In my studies, I amassed dozens of books on angels. I was so fascinated and so intent on finding out how to connect with them. A priest had once taught me how to surround myself and my children with a protective bubble, which I use to this day. Now, you can find descriptions for all these different exercises on a special page that I created that's free for people. It's at Lois Hermann with 2 N's, loishermann.com/info. This protective bubble I would surround myself with regularly. I would surround my children with as they would go off. I'd surround my car with it to keep ourselves protected from negative energy, because we experience so much negative energy in our world. And I learned how to protect, the importance of protecting, and also the importance of connecting with the positive energies. So in learning to communicate with the positive, what we have to do is ask a question and then pause to listen. So many people pray, but it's all about pushing energy out. They don't take the moment to pause and listen, to feel, to look for the answer. The answer may be a nudge or a thought. Pay attention to signs. It could be a series of numbers. It could be a call. It could be a song on the radio. It could be a person calling you. They communicate with us in a variety of different ways. And when we get it, it's like the answer to a prayer. I call them God winks. We simply say thank you. The more we acknowledge, the more they come through, the more present they are. The more we do, the more we feel, the more we see. Ask, believe, and receive with gratitude. Early on, in my first meeting with Archangel Michael, I was actually doing a surrogate session to clear a friend. And I could feel the dark energy come through me, with a skilled hypnotist guiding the session. After we cleared this dark energy, Archangel Michael came through and told us, ask first always for protection, then healing and empowerment across all levels: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, psychic, social, professional, financial, and relational. I have since been asked to add environmental, technological, political, and educational, that we are all one. Our guides have encouraged us to do our protective bubble exercise and have also given us information on setting sacred space on a regular basis. And I'm going to invite you to share this exercise with me right now. I want you to imagine 8 columns of light. You're sitting or standing or driving in a movable octagon of light around you. Each of these beautiful columns of light are connected with iridescent walls of light, with a foundation of light underneath and a dome of light overhead. You're kind of like in a pod, if you will. On the outside of all these walls of light, imagine a shiny mirror coating that deflects anything negative, transforms it, and sends it back as positive. Anything positive or of the light will come through for our highest good. And then we imagine the violet flame, transmuting flame around us, keeping us in somewhat of a stealth mode that prevents the darkness, the negative energies from finding us. Inviting that violet flame into our sacred space to transmute any energy that we may have picked up along the way. And into our sacred space, we invite our wonderful guides and angels. I often work with Jesus, Archangel Michael is always here for me, and there are numerous other archangels which I call out by name. You can call whomever you feel important to have with you at every day, because they are truly here for you. You must ask. And this is In the Arms of an Angel.
Spend all your time waiting for that second chance, for a break that would make it okay. There's always some reason to feel not good enough, and it's hard at the end of the day. I need some distraction. Oh, beautiful release. Memories seep from my veins. Let me be empty. Oh, and weightless, and maybe I'll find some peace tonight. In the arms of the angel, fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room, and the endlessness that you fear. You are pulled from the wreckage of your silent reverie. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort here.
We help so many people connect with their angels and really feel blessed and embraced by the angels, as we help them to clear spirits that might be around them and spirits that are in their houses. And we don't need to be present in the space. The person who's experienced the energy simply needs to be able to tap into the energy while in a light trance state. Many people use sage or yell at spirits to chase them away. And the spirit simply goes to someone else and will usually return. Most native shamans, when they use sage, they're actually praying. It is a part of a ceremony that invites the spirit into the light. Many people just buy sage and use it and wave it around. They really don't know what they're doing. It's really important that we honor what needs to happen. When we speak with a spirit with kindness and compassion, like finding a child lost in the woods, they'll usually tell us their story, and then we help them find their way to the light. Most of the time, they're just lost and want to be heard. One of my most significant home clearing stories involved an assisted living facility outside of Manchester, New Hampshire. Some of you may have heard the stories in my first book, The Spirits of Amoskeag, The Wounded Heroes of the Manchester Mills. I was actually hired by a group of employees to figure out what was going on at their place of employment. It seemed they had attended far too many funerals over the prior 2-year period. Curiously, it wasn't the residents who were dying. The funerals were for the employees' family members. And what was strange is that of less than 50 employees, they'd attended 10 funerals of relatively young family in a 2-year period. And there were several other weird, strange accidents. And since I conduct spiritually guided sessions, they wanted me to facilitate a clearing of the land and the buildings associated with the living facility. We started investigating with a powerful psychic who did have a strong sense there were numerous bodies down an adjacent ravine. We then did the hypnosis sessions with a person from their staff to communicate with the spirits. Dozens of spirits came through and spoke of atrocities that were endured by the children who worked in the manufacturing mills in the 1800s. Most of these children were orphans. They said that they caused the accidents to the people in the assisted living facility to get their attention so they would notice them and listen to their story. They described what was called the Great Unspeakable. It was horrific. The children were used to crawl into the large hydro-powered equipment to oil, mend, and repair. There were no on-off switches and no regulations. These children worked long, intense hours for little pay, and they were proud of the work they did. They would bring the money home to their mother, their single mom, and the leaders of the mills considered these children to be expendable. When they would get hurt, these little injured ones were taken to the basement, killed, placed into barrels, and under the cover of night they were taken several miles away by cart and dumped unceremoniously in piles where they were covered by garbage or dead animals so no one would notice their bodies. And their mother would be told they ran away. We spoke with the lead spirit named David, who said he would take the others into the light if we promised to tell their story. We agreed and assisted hundreds of these young spirits into the light. Then we set out to write their story. I had recorded everything and started investigating. And soon after, the woman who hired me left the assisted living facility and took another job. Life got busy. I got distracted, and nothing was done. Fast forward 10 years later, I met Peter, an amazing person who wanted to use my service just to gain confidence to get a good job. He'd recently been let go. He offered to help me write a book. Now I have several books I want to write, so many stories to share, so I took him on. And after a few weeks, he secured a great job as vice president of sales. And I fell and broke my wrist. In my meditation, I heard a young voice say, "What about our book? You promised." Yeah, they were right. I did. I reached back out to the woman. I said, "We need to write this book." And she said, No, it's all done. I said, "Please just call back to the assisted living facility and find out if these accidents continued." So in a 2-year period before we did the clearing, there were 16 major instances, including 10 deaths. And in the 10-year period since the clearing, nothing. Everything stopped. So they kept their word. Now it was time for me to keep mine. So I asked Peter to travel back in time to see what book we were to write. Immediately, he went into the middle of the Manchester Mills. It was 1888. We gathered several more heartbreaking and insightful stories from a variety of different spirits, ones who did the killing, who were so filled with guilt, wives of the supervisors who were mandating the genocide, begging them to stop, and even Marie, an orphanage mistress, who was absolutely devastated at what happened to her children. She knew they would never run away. We ended up helping hundreds of additional spirits into the light. We even set out to investigate who may have owned the land in an attempt to prove who was responsible, and we did. Between what we investigated and a legal company investigated, we discovered the land was owned by Muskeg Manufacturing Company. After the book was published, Peter and I continued our work to clear the mills and the lands around Manchester. At one point, several of the management perpetrators came through and asked for forgiveness. They explained that the horrific process started because initially the children were so badly mangled that they did not know what to do with their little bodies. The practice of exterminating them got out of hand and was taken too far. We asked them for more information, and they showed us 3 additional sites where the bodies could be found, including a house that some were taken to for healing. Archangel Michael ended up taking these men to a place of atonement for their transgressions. For anyone who has done crimes such as these against humanity, the Spirit holds themselves accountable for their actions. Even if a person feels they got away with something in their lifetime, They must atone for their misdeeds in the afterlife. We could have located and excavated the children's bodies. However, we decided to let them rest in peace and asked a priest to hold a mass for them instead. 1 year later, I was giving a presentation on the spirit story to a group of intuitive people, and one very gifted woman saw the spirit of a young boy standing next to me, holding a cupcake with a single lit candle, wanting to give it to me. And she kept telling him, not right now, she's talking. Oh my goodness. That day was the actual 1 year anniversary of the first printed copy of their book. Even though I had completely forgotten, they remembered and wanted to say thank you.
My father said, the moment of meeting is the beginning of parting, but the moment of parting is the beginning of meeting again. And this song brings comfort to us, knowing that when we let go of the ones that we love, we will meet them again. This is Angels Calling.
The sun is going down. All I see is love around me. You know what I believe. Now I see it so completely. I need you to know that time is letting go. Don't cry, dry your eyes. Can't you hear the angels calling me up above? Can't you hear the angels calling me home? Me home. They're calling me home. Take my hand. Stay with me.
Sadly, a few years ago, over 700 of their books burned in a warehouse fire, the same weekend that Notre Dame burned. I was devastated. Yet these young spirits comforted me, saying they were very grateful that I honored them and acknowledged their story. They told me my next book was more important, and I should focus on the Chronicles of Hope, which I have done these past several years. You can find their stories in The Spirits of Amoskeag, The Wounded Heroes of the Manchester Mills, on Amazon in both print and ebook. So, what do we do when we encounter spirits that are earthbound? And there are angels around us who answer when we call. There are also dark spirits, like the ones who injured the children, that do not go into the light because of their evil actions. Those who are mad, guilty, or angry are stuck in between and will come to the unsuspecting and can interfere in our lives mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically without us even knowing. Many people talk about having angels and spirits around them. My grandmother is my guardian angel. However, she's grumpy. That's not an angel. Some see Jesus with red or black eyes, and that's definitely not Jesus. It's an imposter spirit. These dark energies pose as angels or beloved guides like Jesus, and then serve to drain our energy. Dark energies lure people into their web to feed off of their energy and serve to control. Sometimes when people are in trouble, they call for someone, anyone, to help without being specific as to whether they're from the light. Kids play with Ouija boards or get involved in witchcraft rituals without really knowing what they're getting involved in. The dark side is very real, and if you conjure up a dark spirit or a curse, it will disturb your life like nobody's business. Teenagers who experiment with pentagrams and call on even spirits or murderers just for fun will invite a lifetime of trouble, trauma, and drama. Unfortunately, these dark spirits will stick with the person and interfere with their entire lives and may linger on as curses across generations. Many of these dark energies enjoy messing with people. In these cases, we work together as a team with the archangels to remove demons, or I call them nasties. Although most spirits were originally humans who had caused harm and thought they were demonic, in actuality, Archangel Michael says that these are simply souls who feel that they deserve to be called demons. We must come from a place of compassion. All have the opportunity to be forgiven if they atone for their actions. Those who have no remorse are taken to a place of self-review and may ultimately choose to destroy their spirit. We also encounter entities that are non-human, that are from other dimensions. They are returned to the dimension that they come from by the thousands. We also find portals that need to be closed. All these entities must go. Be they greys, reptilians, arachnids, we find a lot of different kinds of entities disturbing people. And as these go, we must bring in the light to fill the void where they once were. And many children suffer greatly at the expense of external sources without knowing it. Children with kind parents who attempt to do everything in their power to help, yet feel helpless to change the angry nature of a child and wonder what happened to make them so mean. It could be a curse or energy from the unseen world or an ancestral interference that's causing the drama. Once relieved of the negative energies, the person must learn to practice protective exercises to keep the positive energy and protect from the negative taking over again. This is Calm Little Children.
Come, little children, I'll take thee away into a land of enchantment. Come, little children, the time's come to play here in my garden of shadows. Follow, sweet children, I'll show thee the way through all the pain and the sorrows. Weep not, poor children, for life is this way, murdering beauty in passion. Now, dear children, it must be this way, to weary of life and deceptions. Rest now, my children, for soon we'll away into the calm and the
We find so many spirits of children who have been lured, lost, hurt, or neglected. Sadly, children have been used and abused for centuries. They get stuck in between, and if they die without any hope, they're usually very scared and are simply looking for someone to love them. They attach to children as imaginary playmates, to new mothers in the hospital, or kind-hearted folks while simply walking in the woods. Many firefighters who have rescued children will have child spirits around them who died in fires. The rescuer wonders why they feel so bogged down with sadness or loneliness. Other times, orphanages, hospitals, houses, and lands will have children hiding from a perpetrator. Sometimes the perpetrator is still somewhere near the child, and they continue to be afraid. The living person might have alternating emotions of extreme fear and anger without understanding why. Once the spirit child is helped into the light, usually with the assistance of a loving angel, the client relates to the situation and is able to let go of the residual emotional imprint left by the sadness of the child. It's interesting to note that the perpetrators are often hiding in the shadows. I ask Archangel Michael to assist, and he takes them to a different place in the light than where he takes the victims. Many orphans who have been adopted by kind, loving families have spirits follow them from the orphanage, causing distress to all. They may also have genetic memory from ancestors who are very sad, mad, or angry. These spirits will cause problems persistently hanging around. When someone dies without any concept of faith or love or someone to pray for them, they chance to become stuck. If someone has little or no concept of happiness in their life, they may be carrying toxic ancestral memories that need to be released. If you feel a spirit around you, realize they usually just want to be loved and heard. Trust your instincts or intuition. Especially trust your children if they sense or feel something is there. Children are so open. If your child describes an imaginary playmate, they may well be sensing the spirit of a child in the unseen world who is simply lonely. Just believe them if they talk about an imaginary friend. Simply talk with a spirit. Pause to listen and cause an angel or beloved grandmother to help them safely into the light. We've helped so many children to release negative energies and adult children to communicate with their ancestors for clarity, understanding, and come to a place of self-acceptance and peace. This is by sweet Claire Crosby. See the light.
All those days watching from the windows, all those years outside looking in, all that time never even knowing just how blind I've been. Now I'm here blinking in the starlight. Now I'm here, suddenly I see. Standing here, it's all so clear and where I'm meant to be. And at last I see the light, and it's like the fog has lifted. And at last I see the light, and it's like the sky is blue, and it's warm and willing bright.
Oh, she's so special. Over these past many years, I've listened to so many stories from earthbound spirits and escorted thousands of nasty entities into the light. Most are simple people who've died suddenly or tragically, who remain stuck, lost, or are simply afraid. However, there are more malicious ones who seek to feed off the energy of the living. We see this more now than ever. The spiritual energy clearing work my team does brings the light of hope and peace to individuals, communities, and our world at large. We work with the amazing high-level beings who are pure love and exude incredibly positive energy. They help us to connect each person with their own loving helpers to bring peace, joy, and hope to all. There's so many stories to share. However, in our world today, humanity is facing incredible darkness from negative energies and entities that have the ability to step in and take control of individuals. We clearly see the battle going on between good and evil in our society. In the Chronicles of Hope book series, the collective was greatly concerned and offer insight as to what we must do to shift our energy individually and collectively. I freely share their messages in these Inspiring Hope radio shows, in blogs, and in posts on the chroniclesofhope.net website, and of course in the book series. The archangels tell us, if you get caught up in the fear-based narrative painted by influential sources, you'll be snared in an illusionary web created by evil. The intention is to bring sadness, despair, sickness, and control to the masses. There's so much deception that we must learn to dig for the truth ourselves. When we make the attempt, we will see beyond the illusion, gain clarity, and discern for ourselves what is right or wrong. When we look beyond the illusion at the deeds that have brought disruption to our world and the toxic energy to the people, we find those who are tainted by shadow. We're also able to discern those who are embraced by the light. They shine the light of hope, peace, and goodness. Our Lightworker team has been working steadily to bring the light of hope to humanity. Together, we're able to clearly discern those of darkness and light. We're dedicated to helping others who seek the truth to move beyond the darkness into the light of peace. It only takes a few Lightworkers to make a difference in our world. Those who are stuck may never awaken to the empowering light of ascension. Some awake in time. We hope and pray we all awaken to embrace the dawning of this new golden era of grace. Over many years, we've had huge success in using trance states to clear negative energy. Now we notice a dense muddiness with strange metallic energy spikes that show up in the auric fields of vaccinated people, along with the diminished burnt-looking energy of those who've been in contact with others who've been vaccinated. Our team has been given exercises to use that clearly help to shift the energy. These are free on that site I told you about, loishermann.com/info. We have witnessed great changes while clearing and realigning the energy from those exposed to toxic energy, and we're open as long as they are open to assistance. Our 5D Lightworker Alliance has been working together to shift the negative energy of individuals around our planet on a regular basis. We've been given much information on how to help modify the toxic energy and the substances thrown into our bodies. Many are under psychic attack from dark energies that try to keep the positive information from coming forward. Our team works together to help clear and secure the energy, allowing the truth to come forward. This can be done on a regular basis as we practice daily spiritual hygiene, clearing our energy, just like brushing our teeth to clean the unseen bacteria in our mouth. We must practice that sacred energy, this sacred space clearing every day. We're here to light the way as light warriors and shine the light of hope for a bright and glorious future. Stay uplifted in this time of chaos. Bring the higher vibrational energy of peace and love while staying protected. Call on the beings of light for assistance. Listen for their guidance. Thank them from all your heart. We're here on a mission, and together we will save this planet. Do what is in your heart. We've been here before. We have recall of who we are. We all have a different map and different missions, and that's by design. So keep your vibrational energy as high as possible. Send loving energies to others every day. We start at an 8 at 8. 8 minutes, 1 to 8 minutes of prayer at 8 in the morning and 8 in the evening. A simple, simple thing that will create a shift around the world. We bring a light into the darkness, and together we're catalysts for positive change. We become a small ripple in hope in this large pond of humanity. And when in doubt, you can always call on us. We're here to help.
Hey everybody, we're the Clark family and we're going to sing...
Ghostbusters!
Ready, go ahead.
So my team ain't afraid of no ghosts. We deal with them all the time with love, compassion, respect, and the power of the archangels. Thank you for listening to Inspiring Hope with Lois Hermann, and to my special spirit guests who are in the light of love. Tune in next week for another inspiring discussion. Meanwhile, look up, stay positive, and be the light in someone's day. God bless.
WSMN 1590